Awesome. Well, welcome, guys, to Two Qs with Lisa Ward. I am your host. And today, our guest is Miss Jessica. So, Jessica, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. Thanks for having me. My name is Jessica Yancey. I guess nowadays I call myself a multi-passionate entrepreneur. Um, I am a leadership coach, and I coach women through transitions, as well as my husband and I have another local run small business. In addition to doing those things, I am a mom, a full-time mom, always full-time mom of two kids. My kids are just 8 and 10. It's hard to remember because they grow so fast.
Yes.
Um, and a dog mom too. My dogs are always here and love having them. So, um, I'm kind of one of those women trying to do it all and also find my own joy and happiness along the way. So,
Yes, that's how we all do it. We
yeah,
want to do it all. We're the superheroes, right?
yes, without the pressure.
Fantastic. Yes. So I ask everyone the same two questions. So your first one is, what do you want that you don't already have?
Yeah. So I was telling you before, I love the intentional vagueness of the question because it just kind of has your mind go through all kinds of different things. Um, and I think as I was thinking about this, the thing that came to my mind is just ease, like an ease in my life. If you had asked me kind of 2 years ago, so I was working in a corporate job um, in 2022. Um, Decided to leave to start my own business. And at that time, I would have told you it was freedom, like time freedom, freedom to do what I want and spend my time how I want and just kind of have that. And now that I work for myself, I have a lot of freedom. And I would say that building a business, the biggest thing that I want to do is to do it with ease, to like not be struggling day in and day out. And that's the same thing with my family too, is like society today tells us so much that we have to hustle and things are only valuable if you struggle to get there.
Yeah,
Everyone
the
kind of has that.
grind.
Yeah, that hero story of like, if you didn't come from down in the dumps up to the top, then, those are just the stories we hear. And of course, they're great stories and they make good movies and things like that. But um, it doesn't mean that we all have to live like that. And I think my goal really now is just trying to do the things I want and create my visions, but do it from a place of ease and flow instead of that lower level of energy of like hustle and struggle.
hmm I love that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Actually
Grace.
enjoy the process.
Yes. Enjoy the journey, right? And I think for me, I am an achiever, a high achiever. I'm a person who loves challenge. Like my husband said the other day, like I have a lot of tenacity. I have,
No,
oh,
you
yeah.
no.
I would call myself a recovering perfectionist. Now I'm an excellencist is what I'm trying to lean into. But, a lot of those things, it come with resistance and ease is not kind of, I would have said, in my nature. And so it's something that I am constantly thinking about.
hmm Yeah, especially if we are more goal-oriented professionals.
Yeah.
Then
And
it
like we
can be a
said, like having
challenge.
it all kind of when you want different things in your life, like I want things for myself, I want a business, I want to provide for my family, I want to have a great relationship with my family. I don't want to do all of that and sacrifice my family and my relationship with my kids and the time I have with them and my relationship with my husband. Like I but if I'm stressed and, like constantly just trying to get from one place to the other. I know because it was a little bit like that when I was working in corporate. There was so much time I spent away from my family, and my husband has a job where he works 24-hour shifts. So he's away a lot. That, like, when I was with my kids, it was not, it was like, okay, gotta eat dinner. I gotta pick you up. It's time for dinner. It's time for showers. It's time for bed. It was not like, let's enjoy each other and let's, have just, I don't think it takes a lot of time to build those relationships necessarily, but the presence, having the like time to decompress, the like flow where you can like be present with the people that you're with or in doing the things that you're doing, whatever it is like, I think also something that we as a society just kind of undervalue right now.
or don't know how to do. So
Yeah, have gotten
great.
away from. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just there's so much instant gratification and just like idealism about, I don't have what I want. And so I can't be happy with where I'm at. It's the whole enjoying the journey thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, enjoying where you're at. I think that's where the ease comes from of just doing that. I think the other aspect of it as an entrepreneur is having, like you said, goals. Um, having ideas and visions and goals that I want to achieve for my business. And there can be, we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves around timelines, and I need to make this much money by this date, and those are really arbitrary when you think about it. But the stories we tell ourselves is all about like, if I don't do that, I'm failing. I have to like, I have to get there. How do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? And, forcing that, the answer to like, how do I get there just is kind of the antithesis of doing it with ease and invites a lot of resistance. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's something that it's been a learning journey for me.
Yeah. So we've hinted at the second question. So what's holding us back from achieving that?
Yeah.
Society norms, maybe might be part of it. But is there anything else that's holding you back?
Yeah. I mean, I would say the thing that's been top of my mind lately is um, especially transitioning. So I'm in my early 40s. I decided to make this life shift at 40, going from a corporate, I had like a 20-year corporate successful career. Um, I kind of got to know myself or created myself as this person who operates in the corporate environment. Like I fit in, like I still stayed true to myself at each more and more each step in my career, but like being an entrepreneur is really like, I think a lot of that ease comes from knowing who you are and showing up authentically. And that's like a journey that I'm on, of just, and we all are, right? We're all growing. We're all trying to figure out who we are. But like one thing that I've learned is, I mean, I can push through a lot of stuff. But I want to be involved in things that I'm passionate about, and so like, what is that for me? And truly, what mark do I want to leave? What impact do I want to make? What lights me up? Um, I think having that self-awareness and that like knowing myself and as I was thinking about, it's like a lot about acceptance too, right? Because like we talked about external factors, social media, so
Mm-hmm.
many things telling you like how you should be, that comparison trap is like so alive and well. And
Oh yeah, keeping up with the Joneses.
yeah, and I'm
So
sure,
and so's
in
on
the
this vacation in
yes,
Italy or somewhere in
yeah,
Europe. Yeah.
yeah, especially in the financial realm, like we so many decisions people make. I know we all go through them, right? Like I know,
Mhm.
like as a 20 something, I was definitely not that smart. But now social media and things, I think feel like it's like a lot harder. And so too, accept yourself like as you are, that's something that I've really been on a journey to do because I feel that that's like a really important aspect of being able to release the resistance of just, what ease looks like for me because it may not be the same as what it looks like for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. And sometimes we have to be selfish. It's like we are kind of taught to just think about other people, especially as a mom, too. That's you spend so much time caring for others that taking some time, it's it's time well spent. It's time because everybody around you ends up benefiting.
Oh yeah, if you have time to decompress at the end of the day, so does everybody else. But
Yeah,
we
and
don't
if
know
you're
how to do that if there's a rectangle, as we call it in my
yeah.
family. Put your
Ah.
rectangle away.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. So I think that self knowledge kind of acceptance of myself and really stepping into that as an entrepreneur, kind of like stepping into my voice and like my passion and serving people in a way that feels good to me.
Hmm.
Um,
Have you discovered a new passion in this transition or new talent, maybe, in this new phase?
um, I would say it's the things that I've learned because I've gone down several rabbit holes of, you know, coaching. I became a coach because I've had I started in therapy and I kind of really want to normalize it, right? Like
Mhm.
going to therapy, totally great. I moved from therapy into finding coaching because like having somebody to talk, I'm naturally somebody who keeps a lot of things in. So having um, that outlet and like having somebody to bounce things off was really enlightening for me. And so I thought as an entrepreneur, like that was really what I wanted to do to serve people. And kind of what I found out recently is um, like I can do multiple things. Like I don't have to have one thing that's like the one thing that I do. So, my husband and I started a business last year as well. And like that was not planned. That came out of nowhere. Um, we kind of went into it, jumped in 2 feet first.
Mhm.
Terrible at analogies. Feet first, whatever it is. But it's not a complicated business. It's much more straightforward, but I really enjoy having that aspect. Like it does bring a lot of like ease to my life to do something easy, whereas I'm normally very like, I got to tackle all the hard things. So um, I think just the balance of having challenging work and allowing myself to not be like linearly thinking like I have to do just this one thing, like I have the freedom to create whatever I want. I have the freedom to spend my time. I could have 5 part-time businesses if that was easy for me, or if that felt, like in flow for me. I don't think I want that, but like building multiple types of businesses is really
Mhm.
exciting to me now of like that I would consider probably like more part-time businesses of like trying to have like a passive income stream, more passive business, a more active business where I'm in service, like in the coaching realm, and then, contributing and supporting my husband in the ventures that he wants to go into because we have very different skill sets. Um, so yeah, I think going into it, I was much more linear in my thought process. And
Mhm.
so I thought that I had to achieve what I wanted to achieve. I had to just like put my head down, focus, do all the right things to like make that work. Um, and really, there's just no right, like you get to make it whatever you want. And
Mhm. That's probably the 20 years in corporate saying, this is the line. This is our
yeah.
mission. This is what we're doing.
Yes. Yeah. Moving from like structured and like very much a person who I don't necessarily didn't necessarily enjoy the corporate environment, but I can play a game, like a lot of that is learning people, learning how things work. It's operating in that like environment, and you can be successful if you can do that. And when you're on your own, I mean, there's things like media, marketing and social media and things that like have ways of doing it more efficiently, more effectively, and you can learn so much. It can be overwhelming, like how much there is to learn, but that's just kind of like indicative of there's it's wide open, like you can do whatever you want. And that's why I think coming back to like why knowing myself is so important, and what I'm really leaning into to help me continue to move forward, to feeling that sense of ease and flow and having fun in what I'm doing. Because when I started, I was doing like, okay, I have to do all these things. I want to make this much money. I have to do this. I have to market. I have to network. I have to go to this. I have to, and that's not fun. That approach is not fun. And when you're not having fun, it's like, of course, you're not kind of reaping the rewards and kind of getting where you want. You can do that for a certain period of time, but it's not like a long-term strategy. Coming back to kind of
Mm-hmm.
hustle and grind.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, finding your passions, finding what works for you though too. Because
yes,
some people might enjoy the networking and
yes,
having that
yes,
performance per se.
yes, yes. Some people enjoy performing at networking events. Yes,
Yeah.
you, not me. Yeah, yes. More of like if networking is your thing and that's like something that you really enjoy, allowing yourself to use that as like a primary vehicle for marketing. And if you love that and like despise showing up, and social media, then finding a balance for that doesn't say, well, it's wrong that I don't want to do social media, it's like lean into what feels good to you and allow that to take you where you want to go.
Mm-hmm. I love
Yeah.
it. Love it. Love
Yeah.
it. Well, are there any projects or things that we need to know about that are on the horizon for you for this year?
Yeah. I am working on a new coaching program, but it's a little bit out. I don't know when these things will publish, but it's probably around September, kind of after the summer that I'm looking to release that. So, um, really about helping people step into this acceptance of themselves and find their own passion and what they're looking for. So more to come on that. But if folks want to follow me on LinkedIn or Instagram, we can get updates there as we move towards the end of the summer.
I like it. And
Yeah.
your target for coaching is who? Just so that the audience is aware.
Yeah, yeah. No, I have a passion for serving other women who are trying to have it all. I would say at one point I was not in favor of the idea of this term have it all, but I think as long as we don't use that as a reason to or a specific definition, you define what all is for you. And I think I just want to help people have more fun, transition into jobs where they are more aligned, give themselves move away from the guilt and kind of shame that comes around with having multiple interests, having interests for yourself, spending time with yourself, really looking to transition to that higher level of being is the women I love working with.
Yay. Awesome. Good. I wanted that to be shared because if they're
Yes.
listening, then they resonate with that. They can reach out.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. What piece of advice? So say we've got somebody listening and they're in that corporate world and they're like, I want to do something different. I want that ease. I want to actually enjoy my family, enjoy my life that I have built. What piece of advice would you give them
I would
besides call you and work with you?
yeah, I mean, the number one thing, well, I have two things come to my mind. The first thing is, um, if you are not feeling that with where you are right now, making a change, just making a change is not going to automatically give that to you. It's not, a lot of times we think it's about the circumstances around us, like it's this job that's making me unhappy. But in reality, like it's all the thoughts and feelings that we're having about the situations that we're in that is actually what's creating that resistance and kind of sense of disempowerment. Um, and I think number two, that comes from setting boundaries. So often we are not, especially as women who are mothers and caregivers, and also passionate or driven, we feel bad about saying no, and setting boundaries is super healthy of like, I'm only going to work this amount of time, and we think that it's, especially in the corporate world, like it's going to be a detriment. But I think that people respect when you are confident in the way you put yourself forward, and when you know what's valuable to you. um, and just also, kind of from the idea that, like, in the end, in a corporate world, we're all disposable, whether we like to think about that or not.
Mm-hmm.
Probably this period that we're coming out of, especially in the tech world. I worked in aerospace and defense. Layoffs were a very common thing, but like, um, why give more to an employer than they give to you? Just kind of thinking about it from perspective like that and creating boundaries. Because the person you always take with you to whatever you're going to do is you. And so if you're unhappy now, just magically like changing circumstances, either a new job or quitting to become an entrepreneur, it's not automatically going to make you happy. Uh,
Mm-mm.
so, working from the inside out is important.
That's yes. And I think that's a common misnomer for several people, ladies
Mhm.
and guys.
Yes.
We think it's the job. We blame it on the job. It's this business. I don't like the business model, or I don't like the mission, or I'm undervalued. I'm not paid enough. And
Yeah.
then you go to somewhere that does pay you, but the environment is different. The expectation levels are different. So you're like, oh, well,
Yeah.
crud, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we're in that level of energy, that like victim energy is really like the lowest level of energy we can be in. And we take that with us. So it might show up in a completely different way. Like you're saying, like maybe you get the salary that you thought would make you happy, but now you have a boss who's like a micromanager, or, there's other things that come up, and that energy continues to reflect itself for you. But if it's not to say like you have to automatically go to loving your job and being like, rah, rah, I love it, and then leave. But it's, getting to a higher level of energy around, what are the positive parts of the job? It pays you. That helps sustain your family, like that there is a win-win in there. And truly kind of like being in that place, that's like a so much different energy level to bring into looking for a new opportunity, um, transitioning to anything new. So,
Mhm. And it's always scary. Any transition is scary. The
yes.
unknown.
Yeah, yeah. But I think when you're in that like lower level, I keep saying lower level of energy because a lot of my coaching deals with 7 levels of energy, but like, um, fear is a big part of being in that that low level of energy. And um it is hard to, it can feel like a swirl and you can get stuck there, and it's just um where we have the opportunity to call on other aspects of ourselves, like courage and boldness or bravery or things that you want more of in your life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Okay, so that's advice for others.
Yeah.
What advice, knowing what you know now about being an entrepreneur, owning a few businesses, what piece of advice would you have given yourself 2 years ago?
Um, Chill out. That's the words I just keep hearing. Chill out. I trust, 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 just trust. Have trust,
Yeah.
trust in myself, trust in like more like a faith, like a larger trust in the universe,
Mhm.
and trust the things that I know and the wisdom I have to carry me forward. Um, because I would say that I've created a lot of resistance for myself and just trying to say, but how is this going to work? How, and then, okay, well, then I need to do these things because this is how I'm going to get there. And that comes with a lot of force. And um, I, I could kind of step back a little bit and chill out, kind of trust, follow the path that I feel like is the right path versus like trying to force things forward every day. So
Mhm. Yeah, you probably would have slapped yourself had you said that, like, "Chill out." I'm like, "I can't."
yeah, I know it's like an argument of, oh, but all these things, it's like the
Mhm.
fear that, what am I going to do? I've been employed for 20 plus years. I make a good salary now. What am I doing? And things
Mhm.
like that. But yeah, so in that sense, it feels like a place of anxiety where anxiety would be natural, and it is, but also just like breathe. Take some of the weight off my own shoulders, just like allow and trust.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that was a big leap of faith to leave a guaranteed paycheck
Yeah.
to start a business.
Yeah.
Follow the passions. I mean, literally all the things that we've talked about today. It's knowing your true identity, what you're actually like, what excites you, what gets you out of bed in the morning. You get excited to, see the family and then give back to the community.
Yeah.
Um, that then could, support the family. It can bring
Yeah.
revenue.
Yeah. And I would say the chill out part is also just about like chilling out on the goals, like not being linear about time or what growth looks like, because if we're only measuring in dollars, we're missing a lot. Like I've like grown so much just as a person, learned a lot, through this endeavor. And if I don't look at the gains there and only look at the gaps I have maybe in some other metrics that I have in my businesses, then
Mm.
I miss a lot.
Yeah. Are you a fan of KPIs then or no?
I mean, the corporate side of me is like, I mean, you, you measure what matters.
Hmm.
But I think measurement is important. But if there's anyone listening who is in the perfectionist relates to that, there's a book called The Gap and the Gain. I'm looking at it. I think it's by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. No, Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. But it's a great book. It talks about focusing on the gains instead of measuring, like, it's so natural for us in the comparison trap thing, right? Like looking at how far away we are from the ideal of what we want. And that just creates a sense of lack and insufficiency that just creates the vibes that perpetuates
Hmm.
dissatisfaction.
Hmm.
Versus if you're looking at, okay, every day, what were three things that I gained in today, even if it's like, I took a walk or I spent some time, I did the three things on my to-do list, or But the satisfaction that we get from doing that, and then when you look at that over time, you see how much you've actually gained. Um, and the days, the amount that we achieve in a day, and when you look at it from like that small view, is not always like satisfying. Doesn't feel like we're doing a lot, but when you look what you achieve over months, it makes such a big difference. You could
Oh yeah.
see that, right? And I think shifting to that view is really something that I'm trying to every day, trying to remind myself to do, because it helps. Uh, versus KPIs of just like, if I don't hit this target, I didn't.
I'm a loser. I didn't make
Yeah.
it. I'm a failure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a failure, but it's like, maybe I just got the date wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe I got the number wrong. Yeah, so that's the chill part.
Assess and readjust. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like have a plan and go for it and be driven and take action to do those things, but also there's like this paradox that I haven't found a great way to put words on, right? But it's like be driven, go for things, but at the same time like be detached from the results, where if you're so attached to the results that if you don't get it, that fully defines like everything about you, or then that's it's really not kind of getting you where you want to be. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put yourself in a little box. Yeah, that
yeah.
reminds me, I had a manager uh, several years ago, a great manager, create a me file. So throughout the year, it's that same concept of like three things you did achieve, you did
Hmm.
well today, because we always look at the negative things.
Hmm.
We can easily go to the negative things, and negativity begets negativity.
Yeah.
So if we focus on the positive, and the whole purpose of the me file was by the time your annual review comes around,
Yeah.
it literally writes itself, because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I did do that. And
Yeah.
I did do that. I'd forgotten about that. It's amazing how we forget all of the good stuff,
Yeah.
but we'll remember the two negative comments we got.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so bad. We have to literally retrain our brains
Yes.
to
Yeah.
focus on the positive.
And it's possible, but it takes work, right? It takes habit. How long have you been in the habit of doing the other? And it makes sense. It's like more biological, right? Like watch out for the dangers, remember the things that are dangers, that whole primitive brain. But now that we're not being chased by saber-toothed tigers, it's like it's not as useful, but it takes effort and attention for us to do that. I love that idea of keeping the log, because it is. I always had intentions to do that, but it does take intention.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And anytime somebody's ranting about negativity and I'm like, whoa, 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 let's take it out of the universe.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
good. That's not happening. Gonna
Yes.
happen. The manifesting, vision boards, there is some of it. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's a little too hokey for me. But um, there is like, if we continue to tell ourselves, I also saw that I'm bringing dating into this, but
Mm.
um, I heard on a different podcast, we tell ourselves like the bad person, and this can go for friendships too.
Mm.
Oh, they're gonna change. They're such a great person. We're literally training our brains to think that they are
Hmm.
the good person.
Yeah.
But what if we did that for ourselves?
Yeah.
I am the successful person.
Yeah.
I am the good coach. I am the good mother. Then we actually believe it.
Yeah.
And then other things are manifested, other habits do change. Positivity begets positivity.
Yeah.
And it might
Yeah.
be easier to celebrate your three things that you did well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, it's like, where your awareness goes, that those are the things that are reflected back to you. I just think about like if you ever thought about buying a new car, and you're like you never see them driving around, and then all of a sudden you start thinking about buying that one type of car, and it's like amazingly shows up everywhere that you are. And it's because your awareness is there of
Mhm.
seeing that car. And it's absolutely the same thing that you say with your where your attention goes. If you're like, I'm always thinking I'm a bad mom, then that you have to intentionally choose to change. And it can be hard, right? It's like going just to be like, I'm, and these are extreme examples, right? Like I'm a bad mom to I'm a good mom is like, your brain might be like, I don't believe you, but there's ways to kind of bridge getting there of thinking like it's possible that I'm a good mom, and kind of baby stepping your way there that kind of tricks your brain into not having so much resistance to feeling that.
Mhm. Mhm. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about a little bit of everything today. Love it.
Yes.
Love it, love it. Well, any other tidbits of advice? I know we've got our project new coaching program coming this fall, so we'll
Yes.
definitely have that to look forward to. But any other, it's on your heart and you want to share with everybody today?
Um, you know, I don't think so. I mean, I think my encouragement is just to follow when you have ideas of things that are interesting for you or people you like or things, like follow those paths. Don't talk yourself out of them because you never know where you'll end up.
Hmm.
And even though it might not make sense right now, I think that trust is important. So
Yeah, trust and chill out.
chill out.
I
Yes.
love it. Love it. Love it. Well,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for listening today. And thank you, Jessica. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.